All right, it's raining again. It's just letting up here. So I'm going to do projects like this. Our seals came in for this. I think they were like $36. I'm going to attempt to rebuild this cylinder myself. I haven't done it. This little clip here I was talking about is a wire, they call it, and it goes down around, and that's what locks this end on. So what we have to do is grab on with something, and you got to fish that spring over at the same time and pull that up out of here. So I think I probably need a pick, and I need to get underneath it and lift it up, and then as you roll this will come up out, you know, it'll be quite long. The seal package I got has a spring in it, so we're going to be replacing that. Let me get something to get down behind there. It's kind of small. Well, I tried the vise out here. I couldn't loosen it. I couldn't get a grip on it. This is super shiny. It's super hard, and I couldn't get the pipe wrench or the large 4-inch pliers on it. I did put a little screwdriver in here to lift the spring up, and I believe if we go that way it'll pull that spring right around. So I still couldn't grip it, so I got out the old Bosch Bulldog Extreme here, and I'm gonna put some marks in it, see if this will turn. So if you look, well, probably what I should do is mark that first, and once we mark it I can see how far it goes, and then I can have it line right back up to the same spot. So let me get some stuff out. We'll get a mark on here. See if it stays long enough. And it appears that if we go that direction, which is actually the tight, would pull that out. I think if we go this way, it's going to want to pull the spring in farther. So it's kind of backwards. I just got a chisel bit and hang on to this thing. And it moved the biscuit, and that's it. Screwdriver fell out, which is alright because it's up in the air. Do I have to push harder? I had to put it back in the machine because I couldn't hold on to it. Well, so much for that idea. I think the key is, though, just pull the spring out, then this is going to come off. So I would have a feeling if we go counterclockwise, it's just going to make it tighter. I'm going to keep going a minute, give you a headache. If it doesn't work, we'll go the opposite direction. Let me get the pliers back out. See the pipe wrench, this one anyway. Ooh, it moved just a little bit. But I need something to bite on. That's where these teeth that I'm digging in there might help it. Yeah, see, nothing to grip. And I use these big old boys. Yeah. See, now she's turning. Look at that. Not really helping with the spring. So I think what we got to do is clamp on the spring and try to pull it out. Could be debris in there, just stopping it from moving. And then Looks like paint and whatever. So I'm going to maybe grab a small vice grip, see if I can grip that. So I gripped it a little and it lifted up. But you know what I'm thinking? Yeah, we're storing it outdoors. So did that just plain get water in there and rust? So we need to get a hold of that and get it to move. And so we were able to turn it that way. Let's see if we can go back the other way now. Yeah, and then kind of gotta have this spring go with you. It looks like it's doing something. It is, see that? So I did go the correct direction. It's pulling up out. And then we're gonna make a mess here, aren't we? So you kind of pull your spring at the same time. It doesn't come out on its own. So let me re-grip. And like I said, they give you a new spring. They don't want you to reuse it. Look at. So we just gotta get that out of there. It does have a little corrosion on it. Kind of an odd design because water can get in there. Wow, look how long it is. And it's pointed on this end. Yeah, looks like a nail. You put her in this direction. I'll put an arrow right here. This direction on assembly. And then what we'll do now is grip onto this and pull it out. And if it doesn't pull out easy because of the seals, got the tractor right here, I can just hook a rope on the bucket and just pull it right out. And I put a pan down here and collect the oil. It's all going to run out. Well, remember we took the fittings off, so it may not be a whole lot in there now. Probably not. We'll get in a better position and pull this out. Yeah, there is quite a bit in there. Let me get a rag and a pan. Just got the oil drain pan to work. Now, not sure if these have any threads in them at all. I think they just push in, right? That would be my guess because I turned it that and there's still no gap there. So we just gotta pull her out of there. So I'm going to get a rope through this pinhole and we'll pull that right out with a tractor. I'll probably lay down a piece of wood or something in case it, you know, drops. I don't want to scratch the cylinder, the piston. Alright, I got a little strap thing on there. Let's see if that's strong enough to pull that cylinder out. I'll just back the tractor up slowly. Probably if I had a better tie, but I didn't have another one that I wanted to break with a hook on it, so we're just doing that there, I guess. Sliding the whole backhoe out here, so there is a gap. See it? You got a little gap there. So let me turn that. See if that helps at all. She's free. That should come out of there. Hopefully, it won't knock her backhoe over. I don't know, we'll see. The strap's only 600 pounds. down a little bit more, but it's hitting moving the backhoe here. I don't want to tip it over. So, and I didn't want to hook the tractor up to it, obviously. Yeah, we got a little more room here. We'll keep trying it, and hopefully I won't break the strap. Probably have to get the cable. Pull the backhoe off the block, but no big deal. Alright, I didn't do nothing. The riggers are down, and they're digging right in. Don't know what else to do with it, right? Let's see. I don't have anything to scrap the backhoe to toward that direction. If it was near a tree, I could do that. Gave her a little twist and she popped out a little bit. Yeah, see, they got moisture in there, right through that hole, didn't it? So, look, she's about all the way out now. Collect some of this oil would be nice. We got the gland, now we got to get the piston out. So, put a little more tension on it. I definitely don't want to come crashing down here onto something hard. Yeah, it's wiggling now. So, a little more pressure on it. Tipping that backhoe over here. The other rigger's way up in the air. Hope you don't go together that hard, right? Give her a little more twistaroo if it helps. Probably not. Because the gland is out. I guess I have to turn the rod from up here on the end. Now there's pressure on it. There it is. Woohoo! Then I'll get a bright light. We'll get this cleaned up. I should get the parts washer. Get that out. And this looks in good shape. Probably just a, well, there's a wiper seal. It's leaking out of here. It wasn't leaking here anywhere else. It's just leaking right here. So probably stone or dirt got on it. We'll get her cleaned up. Alright, I got a rag on the bottom here. I got my cylinder, the piston here. Everything looks good on that. Everything. There's a little dab of corrosion here. but we're going to put new seals on anyway. So we'd have to blow this big nut off. It's about a 2-inch, and then I might have to put it back on the machine there to keep it from turning, probably, and then put something in here to hold it. And then I got to try this off, which is down there pretty tight. And then I wanted to look at this and see what it looks like down inside here before I start cleaning it. See that? A little bit of corrosion on the outside. So that little slot allows water to get in there, you know. And we'll look down in there. And she looks unscratched. Looks good. So I guess I just have to buff this outer edge here, because that looks like crap. We'll get this cleaned up, and then, like I said, I'll get a socket for that and a gun out here and blow that off. And then I'm not sure if I got time enough today. This is where that wire rides, right in this groove. And then you've got an O-ring, and you got a backup. So what you want to do when you do these is take photos. This one will separate, and then here's a rough edge on this one. We're going to be putting a new one in anyway. So it's important to make sure this is burr free, get this buffed up. So I'll probably be using a little Dremel with a little wire wheel or something inside there. Get that cleaned up, get these tools cleaned up. And I don't know if I got time today, I got other stuff. And like I said, take pictures. It's hard to do things from memory when you don't jump right on it. So I'm going to grab the seal kit. And what I got, made in China, like everything. 2 1/4 inch bore, 1 3/8 rod. So let's see if I did that right. .25/64. I probably moved it. See that? 1 3/8. I don't know if you can see it. 1 3/8. So I did that right. And then 2 1/4 inch bore. So we probably have to measure right here on the piston. And we have 2 15/64. That's 2 7/32, 2 1/4. So slightly less than 2 1/4. But I'm not sure this is deep enough to measure up to the middle of this either. So I would say we're pretty darn close. So I think I have the right kit. And then for the price I told you, it was like $35, 37, I forget. I also got these with it. And this is a 3-pack hydraulic seal kit. So you got these little wrenches that you twist, and it takes the seal and flops it in if I need it. I'm going to see if we need it. But I thought that's a good deal if it works. And then in this kit, here's your, I don't know what you call it, this band. And then, what else we get? Looks like you get 2 of those. You get, it's like that seal, this O-ring. You get our spring right here. And then, no, that's a big seal. That seal goes out here on the end. Let's see what else we got in here. Hold on, I'll lay everything out, see how much we got here. Okay, we've got our wire. The only difference I see in this, a couple of them actually, is this is a 90 degree at the end, which would make better sense because when you roll that up, it boop. Mine came up on an angle, was very hard to get to. And then the end of this is blunt, and the other one went right to a really sharp point, so maybe we can ground that to get it started. We've got the large O-ring, and that goes right here. We've got our wire, our backup ring, which is not here by the looks. This is our piston seal. We've got our, I'm not sure the proper name of this. This is that split washer, and I think that protects the seal. And then we've got a smaller O-ring, which might be on that side. We've got our seal for the outside, and then I think this is the wiper. So it looks like we've got everything for this. And then this, I'm not sure if we use it on here because that's a lot wider, but this is the right one. So yeah, I think I'm ready to tear this apart when I get a minute. Well, it's 1.5 inches. I set it back on here, but I don't know if we got power enough to drive it off. Let's see. They really put them babies on there. And I think this is, well, it's only a 3 amp battery, but I think it's around 600 pounds. I might have to let me get the breaker bar to break it free here, and then we'll zip it off. Let's see if that'll help us. And then I'm going to get a pipe and put on the end of that. See if that works. I don't think we'll be picking the backhoe up to do so. I don't know, let's see here. Got a pipe. Take that off. This on. What do you think? You think that's big enough? Oh. Need a bigger one. Check it out. Ah, we can snap things, can't we? We're so strong. I wanted to see if there was an O-ring or anything in there, and I don't see anything. There's that. Big old boy. Now we'll put this back up in the vise. But like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I don't know if I'm going to monkey with it today. Alright, let's take the knot. Piston. It looks pretty straightforward, nothing to it. And I felt a little, right there, a little edge on it. So we'll be putting a new one on anyway. And then remember the, I don't know, the wiping collar is to the outside. And this is on there pretty firm, so I got a block of wood. You can get that off of there without knocking it out. Moving. This vise is just kind of crappy sitting on this table, so gotta baby it. Of course, this table's kind of crappy. I need like a nice heavy welding bench, big one, but I need a big workshop, you know. I think the workshop would be nice. slow down near the end there. And like I said, there was no O-ring or nothing there. There. So, let's see what we got here. There's that wide collar. That one in the kit goes right there. And let's get the flashlight. Different color, but you see that? So is that considered, I don't know, backup wiper? I don't know. Don't know the proper terms, but a little bit of corrosion on that, whatever. So we'll pull that O-ring, we'll put it in a wire wheel and clean it up. Or a little emery cloth, won't get crazy with it, because that doesn't touch anyway, probably. Doesn't look it anyways. It's out far enough, it's probably where that corrosion is. And then on the inside we've got a wide seal, and then we've got a little more corrosion, and then we've got our outside seal. So I think we got all the parts we need. Everything's here. So it must be just a standard, I don't know. Good thing I didn't want to pay, let's see, it was been $196 plus tax, plus their labor. He said a half hour plus tax. I know it's more than $250. And if you look right here, you can see a little bit of scraping right there and there. So we're going to put new seals in. I'll get this cleaned up. Shouldn't be too bad. And the problem is getting that inside seal in there, probably. That's where we need that little tool. And we put it around the circle, say this is a seal, and it twists and bends that inward, push it in and let go of it. And that'll get it to fit without abusing it. This thing looks pretty simple to put in. And then this seal, I got a seal puller. It'll destroy it. Probably won't matter. And a screwdriver or whatever to get that out. So, I don't know. See, we got time enough to do it today. I've just kind of the things I want to do. I just threw the little brush wheel on the drill. That cleaned up pretty well. I washed her out. Looks pretty decent in there if you can see. So, I think we're in business with the cylinder. Now I'm going to probably go inside. The mosquitoes out here are terrible. What's going on with all this rain, right? I'm going to go inside and probably work on these. Well, maybe before I head in, I'll go ahead and dismantle this one, because I want to put this in a brush wheel first. Make sure there's no corrosion putting it back together. Like I said, it only goes into that distance, and then this is where the lock ring is. So probably doesn't matter, but I want to clean it up. So I'm going to use, what do we got here? These cheapy Harbor Freight picks. I don't know if I recommend them. They're not very good, but we'll get under our big O-ring. I'm trying not to ruin this stuff. I don't know why. I always save everything spares, you know. But we'll get under that. Peel that off. And then the backup ring. Which one did I say I didn't think we had? The backup ring should split in the middle, right? Not super bright out here. Let's see. It's supposed to sunshine tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one yet. And this one is where our spring goes. So now I want to pry this out. So I think I'll set it in the wood vise here. I'm going to think on that other one for a minute. And then I'll grab a hammer and we're going to pop on that seal, see if we can get it. And use an old Craftsman screwdriver here, see if I can get in there and without totally destroying anything. It's going to totally destroy it. So I'm pretty sure that we went through these seals, that everything matches. So see that? So we'll be putting this back in. It'd be a bit easier to put them in that way. I could use this regular socket, but this you got to put it in straight and square. And the key is to get it the right depth. And right now, this is 1/16 below the surface. So this has a part number on it. That's cool. And then, well, I got the bag open. I don't know. Yeah, that's not the one. See, we don't have, or do we? Maybe we do. We had 8 seals here, I think. Before I get rough on, I want to make sure I dump them back out. See, this one is just rubber. And that's the only one that's like that. So this one is a hard type material, right? Maybe not. I'm just worried I'm going to hurt it. Maybe it's rubber. Make sure it's the same thickness. Kind of looks the same, but this is really flimsy, and it's flat on this side, curved on this side, so obvious that if the O-ring's on the outside, the curve has to go to the O-ring. So I bet it does go there. So I guess we can rip it off, because I kind of want to put this on the brush wheel and get her nice and clean. See if we can get it out without totally trashing it. Because these have been in there 25 years, you know. Is it time to give it a rest, you know, dry it out? Yeah, it's kind of like a rubber. I don't have any experience at this. I told you that, right? We're learning together. See that? Look at that. Came off like this. It's flat on this side. Yeah, it's got a little curve to it. It's a harder material. Okay, now back to the other seal. Gotta beat the snot out of this one to get it out of there. Yeah, it's gonna destroy it. So I don't think it matters. You could probably pound down right here, trash it inward. I'm going to try to come onto the outside of it and lift up on that metal. If I can. No. Nope. Knows that seal puller I've got would fit under that. I just don't want to hurt the surface of the ring here. I think I'll go get a little punch and see if I can get it started right there. So I got an older screwdriver and I gave it a love tap right here on the top and it folded right in. So that's better coming down from the top because I didn't want to hurt the shoulder in there either. And that's that. So now there's a little corrosion right here too. The water definitely got in there. So I'm going to clean this up with a brush wheel and all that. And on the inside we got to pull these seals out. So see what we can do right now. Come down in and see if we can hook this wide band one. These are the other way. Definitely get her clean before you put her back together. Now this is a split one. Get behind it. Keep her from turning and pull one of them out. Yeah, I know I would be fighting to put these back in if I didn't have an installation tool. There, I got that out a little, get behind it. There. This is that wide band. A little trace of water or something got in there. And now we've got our seal that's down in there. It's closer to this wide end, I guess. This one, I don't know how you get it out without destroying it. Get behind there. And this one is tight to the outside edge and there's a gap on the back edge. So, does this have a backup ring in it? Don't know. No, maybe not. It moves left and right, you know, whichever moves. I'm afraid to use these picks because they're pretty cheap. I think they were $1 or something on the Harbor Freight thing weekend. You get hurt on cheap tools. Like I said, it don't matter, I guess, if we trash it, but what I'd like to do is get them out so I can see what it looks like first. Find out where our oil leak come from. It's dripping quite a bit. And it's not to the costly point, but it's to the messy point, you know. I think, I don't know, it wasn't once a month, but it was often enough I'd have to put like a pint in or something. I wonder if the straight screwdriver would fit down in there. Get right behind it. Yeah, I don't know what's with the rain this year. Holy moly. calling for flooding. Won't flood where we live, but the river downtown is up. See, this is the hard one. This is the one that we have to fold in half to get it back in there. See that? I don't know if you can. I don't know if I can. There, see how thick that one is. Just in case the parts aren't right. That's a nice thick one. Hard. Doesn't appear to be directional. Well, it's got ribs on this side, which were toward the back, toward the piston, and just wonder if there's a little lip on that. Does look like a little bit of a lip. So the lip goes towards the piston. Now, there is no backup on that. Nothing else in there. So I'm going to put this on the brush wheel, clean her up, and we're going to take the piston. We could take this off. We'll be done with this. This little woodworking vise, I don't know, I got it used somewhere in a garage sale box, I think. And I don't like how it bolts down because they didn't drill holes. It's just got slots, so I don't know how to hold the front. So I just jammed some screws in there to keep it from falling off. So this one, just pull your ring off. That's easy. And then there's a little damage right there. So we'll go in the damage spot. See if we can get in there. The only nice thing is it's a wooden vise, you know. 2 pickaroos. Not much room. It looks like, yeah, there's another O-ring under it. That would make sense now. Just wonder where that O-ring went. So we got that. And this one is a part number. Goes this way. Don't seem to be a direction on it. And then there's an O-ring under it. So that's where that O-ring went. I couldn't see it. And that just puts pressure on it. We can get under that. And that's nice and round and soft. So there's our parts. There's our piston. Empty. Ready to load this. Told you I wasn't going to do this today, but now I'm kind of like interested in finishing it before I forget it. So I got to wash this up. There's no nicks, no burrs, no nothing. This is nice shaped aluminum. This, heavy. This is some type of hardened steel, and Got corrosion here. I want to get the brush wheel. This little dinky thing might do it. Maybe. It does. A little big for it, but just want to get it clean. Yeah, there's nothing to it. So that's good. And then this I don't like. Quite a bit on that, if you could see it. And like I said, it's out on the outside of that cylinder. So, and we cleaned the cylinder. So I think I can hit this in the brush wheel. This is pretty heavy, hard stuff. I don't think it'll harm it. The inside looks good, and I'll get it cleaned up. And I think I'll rebuild it inside. Get out of these mosquitoes. Hummingbird just went by me. Mom gave me a hummingbird feeder because I couldn't find mine this season. We remodeled the kitchen, and I thought I had it in like a junk drawer or something, you know. I couldn't find it. And she gave me one. I loaded it today. Now we got hummingbirds all over. They'll probably come by to say thanks. All right, let's see if we can remember how to do this. It's been a while. So I put this in the brush wheel, and this cleaned up pretty nice. And remember our wire, gotta find it. Our wire is going to run around and hook right in there. So that's what holds it in. I took the edge and sharpened it. I don't know if I should have, but that's what the other one was. I would imagine it'd start better going through that hole and hit and curve around. Because if it hits up on the other spot, I didn't want it to catch, you know, and this might make it bend. So I think we should start on the inside. Why would you do the outside and then do the inside last? So let's figure out what's going on. I've got a little bit of petroleum jelly. Probably should be using hydraulic oil, and I didn't want the mess. And then we've got to take the seal, and that goes in this way. And so I got to hunt up like a socket, but we can do that once we get outside on that one. Our big O-ring. And then what order do I want to do it in here? We got to put this seal in. Remember, this was directional. I got dust on it from outside. Well, actually, it was in the paint tray, wasn't it? And we got to remember what order everything goes in. This is our split ring. And we got two split rings. This one. And that just bends around and goes in. So this one goes in there. I don't think we need to oil up anything for that. We'll just place this in. I should compare them. We didn't really do that yet. So the old one is this. You know. And just bend her around. Are they the same length? Maybe. Let me know in the comments if you rebuild any of these. I guess it looks the same. I haven't, and I'm so worried about it. I was almost willing to pay them to do it. But if I can do one, I can do another one, right? Just push her down. Can't be that hard. Look at that. That's it. So that's in. Pretty simple. Then on this side, we've got this one, right? No. We got this one goes on here. We've got this one goes in there. The O-ring goes below it. I want to make sure I put them in the right spots. We've got this one, and this has a concave. This goes against the O-ring on this side, and the big O-ring goes against there like that. So we set these up so we don't mix them up. We know where this seal goes, and then we've got the wiper seal. This is the one that goes down in there directional, and we've got this has a lip on it. The lip faces in like that, and this little tool, if we need it, is supposed to be to get this to fit in there. You see that? So these things, you set them over your seal one way or the other, and you kink it in half. It's supposed to make it smaller. If I'm doing it the right direction or not. No, it seems rough on it, don't it? Do you open it first? Go in this way? Doesn't matter. This is the outside, that's the inside. We're going to come in, I guess, this way. We're going to want it like this. Put her on, twist it in. Is that going to work? See, that makes it larger. I'm going to probably open the tool. Put her on. No instructions come with these, you know. I don't know, it just pinches is all it does. And you bring it in. And you get three sizes. Like this one. This one obviously is kind of huge that you can't even fit in there. And then there's a middle size that, you know, you can't open it in there either. And then this is a smaller one. And this one you can open. So that's why I thought it was this one. And then it goes on the outside in, right? Oh, let's just try it, I guess. Who knows? No instructs. If I just pushed it down in there, I really don't think I can do it until we make this come in the center. So we gotta make ourselves look foolish here how to do it. There, I think like that. And then I don't know how else you could make it small enough, you know, if you didn't manipulate it so much out of shape. There, see, that's a lot smaller. Can we get down in there? And then if I can take and press it in. I didn't want to lube it up like I probably should have because it'd be so slippery to hold on to. I want to keep it in the groove and then work it up in there. So I'm going to keep fighting this a minute, and then I might even get a bright light and set it up here so I can see. Wish the sun was out. I brought it up here so you can see it a little bit better, but see, as we press and get her in there, it's got that little wrinkle in it, so all we do, I think, is just press her down, make sure it stays in the groove, like that. And then, did we get it? It looks almost in there. And I think what I would do is take something smooth, like a pick on the side, and just press on it. Go all the way around here, make sure it's seated. And then inspect it here. This is where the crease was. I think they're strong enough to handle that memory, but I just want to make sure it's seated all the way. It feels even. So, doesn't look like we harmed anything. Now, on the outside, I probably shouldn't do the outside till we tap this seal in. So I think we'll go out and find a socket or tool, pipe, something that's the same diameter as this seal, because this has to go in that way, and there's no strength hitting the rubber. You got to be out on this portion. To me, I would think it would go in this way, but it was mounted this way. There's your part number. So let's see if we can find a socket. Now, I'm going to go look on the other cylinder, but these cylinders, I bought this new. I know these cylinders haven't been worked on, and if they're both installed this way, I'm going to do the same thing. Most car seals go in this way, and that's easier. It gives you a wider shoulder to tap it in. Alright, before we head out and do that seal, we might as well go ahead and do the piston, right? So, 3 pieces on here. We got, let's see, we got the O-ring that goes, I gotta remember, right? We've got this wide sleeve that goes on here, so we can go ahead and do that. That just stretch a little, snaps on, and that spins around. It doesn't come very close. That probably is the wear part so that your piston doesn't touch the cylinder. And then we've got this O-ring. Let's see here. Got this O-ring that goes on like so, and that falls right way down in there. And then we've got this goes on, and then this one is one I worry about. You really got to stretch at. So see if we can do that by hand. I doubt it. It looks like we have to start it in the groove to get it to stretch. And done with that. Kind of got to hold pressure somewhere. Not really a how-to video. How I do a video, I say, right? I don't know if I can hold that if I stretch. Ugh. It's going to go a lot. So I'm wondering, maybe I'll put this in some warm water because I don't want to harm it. Maybe it'll make it more malleable. I don't know. Because I got to stretch at, 3/8 of an inch. That's a lot. I'll be back in a second. We're going to warm it up. Probably put a little lube on it also. So I warmed it up. I got to work quick. Put a little bit of lube on it. I believe this will disappear right in the oil, your hydraulic oil. So a little Vaseline or petroleum jelly, whatever it is. And now this is what I don't like, is getting it all greasy because then you can't hang on to it. So I don't know an easy way to do this. See, that doesn't want to stretch. The old one. See how flexible this is? And this one is not. This is stiff. As long as I don't break it, otherwise the old one's going back on. And yeah. Let me look at the surface again. Is there a difference in them? I don't see any difference in it. There's no lip on it. So we'll just stretch the crap out of it. If I can't get this to pop right on instantly, I'll do it off camera so I don't make any funny sounds, right? Just want to kind of hook and hold. Probably be easier if I could put it in that little wooden vise. I don't have to worry about holding it. That's probably what I'll do. I'll run out and I'll put it back in that wooden vise. And then I can not have to hold this. And then I can put my pick and hold there and work it around. So much for heating that up, right? Well, that didn't take much. What I did is I took this collar sleeve off, whatever that's called, right? And I went up on this end because to me that was harder to do than this little short piece. It came on this way, and then it's got that second shoulder, so it went up more gradual. And so it went on pretty easy. Now we're going to put her in the groove. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think of that, huh? So now maybe this will shrink back down. And then we'll put our collar piece on. Don't know the proper terms, right? And there's our piston. That's put together now. Put that in our tray. And now we're going to go out and do that seal. And then we've got to do, we're going to use a socket. And I think a 1 5/16 I'll see. But then we got the O-ring and this backup washer. It's got a concave on this side and it fits right to this. So let's go put that seal on. That Tiger all comfortable over here. You like it outside, Tig? Yeah. What do you think? They like catching little critters outside. He had a chipmunk yesterday he was playing with. He got away though. I'm going to take this portion, set it on our block of wood on concrete. That way it won't bounce too bad. Take our seal. I don't know if I should put any lubricant on it. Probably wouldn't hurt any, right? I don't know if you should put RTV or something like that on it. But it fits so tight that I doubt anything could leak past it. And then we'll set her down in there. And then we take, this one is a 1 3/8 And that might get it started. We got to try to go in square. I don't know if starting a hammer is going to help. Probably not. Probably going to be a struggle bus. See that? It's going to rock and roll 10 times on me. So this shoulder is so narrow, it's not even a 16th probably, maybe. And the edge of your socket's rounded slightly. But I'm going to set that in there and give it a love tap. And we got to keep adjusting it left and right. It started, see how crooked? We don't want to bend it. And we want to see if we can get her in there. Let's see. I'll fight with this, but you get the general ideas. I thought that that would be the best tool to put it in with. You don't need to see me suffer, I guess. Alright, I got our seal in. That took quite a bit. Now, the last two we got is the big O-ring and the concave seal. Can you see that? Focus. One side is flat, the other side's got a little curve, and that fits right together with the O-ring. So this is the outside. So we're going to put the thin seal on facing the O-ring. Let's see. Probably doing it backwards. I think. I'm going to review footage. I'm telling you, if you don't stay right on this and time goes by, then you're like, Let's see, the O-ring goes on. I got to recall, but see the little fine line? I believe we took it out this way. I believe this goes on this side. So let me review footage to confirm that I'm putting them on the right way. Alright. So we took it off in this direction. We had that ring on there. And you see how tight that fits. Now that shiny part's away. That's the right way we had it. And then we take our O-ring, fit that in there. Make sure you don't bend this one over. And then this will be complete. I didn't really review the footage, but I think I'm going to before I commit to this. I don't know if this is the right pick for it, but put that back on that side. There we go. All the way around there. There we go. So, we've got our inside flat. We've got our inside seal. We've got our outside seal. We've got our backup ring facing the O-ring. We got our O-ring and we got our groove cleaned out for our wire. Now we should be able to lube this up and put everything together. We got our piston with our split ring. We got our backup O-ring down in there. We've got our outside seal. This is super light aluminum. A little dusty on that pan. And we can reassemble this. So I'll just play that footage to make sure I got that O-ring back up on the correct side. Yeah, this makes sense. It's on the outside. This is the inside, so the O-ring first. And now we're going to go ahead and assemble this. Get her put together. Okay, I just slid the gland on. Now we're going to take and put the piston in, and then the nut. And tighten this up. Now we're going to take this breaker bar and pipe and get her tight again. I don't know what the torque setting is, but we don't have a torque wrench that big. So we're going to get her tight. Got my block of wood under there so it can't scratch. And then got a big old pipe. I don't know how many hundreds. It's probably a couple hundred. Alright, so that's all set. So now we can pull that back off, and I could put this cylinder in that little vise, but it's going to flop all over. I might put the cylinder back on here and put the piston in the same direction as we did before. Now let's see how difficult this is going to be. I pulled that out, put my pin back in. I got some more of this Vaseline petroleum jelly stuff, and I'm going to put it all the way around here. This should, you know, what's the word, be soluble, and then this will go in like that. My concern is this sticks up a lot higher than the other one did. So as long as this doesn't bend over and get damaged, right? I don't know if you need to cool them down to get them in there. See how tight that is? Put them in the freezer or something for a while. You think we should do that, guys? Because that should close in a lot better than that, I thought. I don't know, it's a gamble. We're always gambling. We got the tiger chasing something over here. So, I don't know. Just worry about it breaking on the way in, you know. It came out awful difficult. I don't know if you rock it, if it helps. Oh, that didn't take a lot. Now, look at that, easy. Now, I'll get a little more for the outside. Then we got to get that wire. We got to figure out how to do that wire and turn it at the same time. I got my wire. And remember, you kind of got to roll them as I go in because it's not threaded. Get some goobers on here. Slick it up. And then I think there's a certain way right here. Let's see. Remember our marks, that might be handy, but did I wipe it off, you know? Let me get another, I gotta get them pliers, hold on. Alright, we got some pliers out here. Remember this, we marked it that it came out that way, right? Came in and locked that way. Gonna review the footage again. Probably doesn't matter, right? don't see a difference, but we got to bring this gland in, and then remember my chisel mark. It's right there, right there. Let's see if we can get this in there. Hopefully without any damages, right? Look at that. Look at that. Now, the ring was all the way around, so there's no stop on it. If there was a stop, it would have to start at that right location. So we do want this wire to end up sticking up, and I rotated it clockwise, which in normal times is tighten. So do we want it to go in this way? And then we just turn it on its way in. Let's try this. Not saying it's right. I'm going to give it a love tap. Get her started, and then we turn this. And it kind of pulled or pushed the wire. So I don't know, what do you think? Tap her in? I never found any directions anywhere. Looks like it's going in a little ways. Yeah. I want to get her started, and it should wind right around. Wouldn't that be cool if something works? Yeah. No. Let me do a little more research. We don't want to hurt it. It's the only one we got. The other one, got a little damaged. I'm just going to keep tapping it because it's moving, See how it's getting shorter. Just keep it straight. Going somewhere. This is what you do when you don't get instructions. Now the only thing I'm noticing is it's not exactly a 90 degrees, so let me turn that a little. We'll just use some vice grips. It has to go a couple degrees to the right. I wonder if I could maybe just hold that with the vice grips. Or will it straighten on its own probably when it hits the bottom, and I'm too worried about things. Look at that. I would think this is a little more user-friendly than the turning type glands where you need a spanner or chain wrench or something. You're going somewhere. And then once we get to this portion, I would imagine you just tap it in. See that? And then it can't turn and come out. So we'll grab on. No, it can't come out. It can turn. That's cool. So, looks just like the other side. Now, what we can do is say we did it. So now, what we have to do is, we labeled our hoses, We bring our hoses back through the routing, bring them up, put our clamps on, tighten them up, put our pin in. Looks like our project will be done. This might be a success. Alright, I got 11/16 wrench. I took a wire, held up our cylinder. Got my hoses running through here. One is a little longer. It obviously goes up here, but there's a natural bend in it. Not a natural bend, a bend they put in it. And seems like there'd be two bends in it. So it would go like that. Or, no, it doesn't. So this one goes here. I put a little mark on it with a marker, so that one goes there. We don't want them backwards. Start them by hand, and then see what kind of parts we got here. We got our two pins. One's a quick attach, and one in the foot is not. So I think I'm in the right, yeah, I'm in the right spot because there's a hole. I gotta line my pin up, and then we put a bolt in that. There's our bolt. And this one is 3/4 and 9/16. Put a bolt in from the outside, nut for the inside, so the cylinder's in the way. I'm gonna hold off on that. Then this one, just routes up through like that. Then we got two hose clamps that were on it. Yeah, thought it was started. Make sure you start them by hand. Press it on this hose. There we go. Don't be in a hurry. Slow down, it's faster, is what I always say. Mistakes are made in a hurry. Mosquitoes are out here, go away. Snug that up. Snug this one up. Alright, and then we got our hose clamps. Kind of ugly, but hose clamps. And they just keep these from getting banged around and pinched, I guess. So probably one low and one up high. Press this back like that. We'll have this thing back together here. Should have brought the drill out. That's not bad. Just want to make sure we don't pinch anything, you know. This one probably, yeah, it's got to go lower, not higher. Keep our hoses from getting pinched. I think that would be a little rough on them, wouldn't you? Almost want to put a piece of sheathing in there. So I'm going to see what I can find. I think it had something. Wish I had some fire hose. That would work good. So I got piece of, I don't know, it's like a foam plastic I had. I put it behind both clamps to protect the hose a little bit. These hoses are pretty tough anyway, but so we got to put this shouldered bolt in to hold the lock pin in. And put the nut on. Cylinder's up. I could lower the cylinder, give me a little more room probably. Set the nut on the bolt, see what happens. Look at that. And then tighten this bad boy up. And that'll finish our hoses, our clamps, our inside lock pin. Now we pull our wire off. Bring this down. Wonder if we can pull this out after the hoses are hooked up. We didn't think of that, did we? We got to pull the pin out, get this in. Back this up here. Didn't think of that, did ya? You get a little airlock happening with a vacuum. So you got to pull the cylinder out a little bit. See if we can do it. See that? A little more. Alright, that's a fight. If I loosen the hose, it'll be hard to reach it again. That was real smart, buddy. Let's take our rigger up here and see if this helps by releasing it. Not really. That might work. If I can hang on it. It's greasy now. Bring our rigger up, which isn't real light. That should do her. And then everything's sharp, hard, and heavy. Look at that. Nice. So now, push that on. Then we got a washer. Cotter pin. See if it's too bent to use. Oh, no problemo. So then I want to bend that around. Separate it a little bit. Straighten it up. And then we'll bend her right over. I don't like a lot of this kind of stuff sticking up because you're going to cut your hand eventually on it. So now we have officially got this together. This pin is the lock for, not the swing, it's the lock, where is it? I think it's a lock for the swing, which goes right in here. Yes, I'd hardly put it in. But when you travel down the road, you don't want your boom to relax, and you put your pin lock in. And I usually store it in one of these holes. And so I'll keep that there. I took it out to paint it. We didn't finish painting this, so I got to clean that, paint this, paint the other one. I might wait till they're on the tractor. It'll be up in the air a little farther, and I can get out of this dirt and get over on the drive or something. So that might be tomorrow morning, but it looks like tool pickup time, and we're officially finished with this. The other thing I wanted to do, remember we painted almost everything, but the lower subframe, nice heavy steel there. I'd like to, I don't know if it's necessary, but I was going to put a coat of paint on that, and the whole thing would look like new. The riggers on the base plates, we're going to paint them. They flip over. One side smooth for hard surface, the other side got the sharp edges that dig in. And then we want to paint the bucket. We want to paint the thumb. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'll see you in the morning. What we got is dinner time. Dawson wants some kind of salad-y nachos, so we're going to fix them. I got to get in here and get that grease out of there yet. So I guess we're not ready to hook it up. And then I want to clean that all off and paint it. The one cylinder I painted, the other one had grease on it, so I didn't do that yet. And then, what else? What else? We're narrowing this down. Let me show you something. Don't you wish you had smell-o-vision? I think this is like, it's a lilac family, I think, but it's wisteria. They're beautiful. The hummingbirds love it. You can smell this. I could smell it on the other side of the house. They don't last long, but they are so pretty. I got 3 of these bushes, and they're pretty nice. I got a little bit of winter toll. We had some snow come down and crunched a little bit of branches here, but overall, these are pretty nice. So we're going to finish this off in the morning. I think we're going to have a nice day. We got a decent sunset after the rain here. And so, paint, clean paint, 2 colors. The bucket, I think we probably got another hour, 2 hours yet. Then we hook this up and test her out. All right, I backed up to it. I raised up the arms, put the pins in. We painted the frame black. A little sticky, it's on my arm here, but what I want to do is paint the bucket and the thumb, just finish up on it, you know. There's probably some touch-ups. We got to swing the boom left and right. We got to lift the arms up and paint on the opposite side. Things like that. Can't do it while it's sitting down. So let's do this together. Let's fire this up and we'll test our cylinder out and make sure it works. I gotta lift the hoses up yet, but they're all right to drive away. No leakage. Let's see what's happening. See, I want to paint the other side of them and then see if she works. Hey, any fluid? You see these really dig in the ground on this side. So if you're on the near pavement or sidewalk or somebody's decent looking lawn, I flip them over and set them on like a plywood or something. So far so good. I want to get this out so we can get her painted, you know. Oh, another thing I want to show you is we can put our boom lock on. That came in. See, that looks rough compared to the rest. I put my boom lock on and I just stuck this bolt back in there. And what you do, it's going to work right. Just tilt and put that in. But what they got is an 1.5-inch hole on this side, and then they have an oblong hole, and it's 1/4-inch material, so it's much heavier than what we had. I'm going to take and let's see, what do I got to do? Boom up or down. It looks like I need a smaller bolt because this nut holds it in too far. But I'll be glad to get that back on there. Alright, you see this pin? This slot goes on like this. Probably going to be tight. You bring your boom up. Bring this up. And then you let it relax. There's our boom lock. So without that, this would settle down and you don't pay attention to it. It's on the ground, you know, and when you unhook it or park it or whatever, then it's kind of annoying. So I might leave that black because I got a good coat of black on it. Now I'm going to go and finish up painting this. It's going to take me probably an hour. Okay, we finished up with it. And if you remember, those two bolts loosened up. And they were too short to begin with. And I put longer bolts in it. What happened is apparently that pin touched the ground somewhere. Something touched it, knocked it out. The frame tilted. It stayed hooked up on that side, but it dropped down. It messed up the threads. The bracket fell off. And at the same time, we had this hose, not the hose, but the cylinder leaking. And so we end up rebuilding this cylinder. First time I've done one, and that was pretty successful. It's not a drop. It's nice and dry. And then I said, well, we're doing all this work to this. Did a few other things, but oh, we did the boom lock over here. And that's working out nice. So now this doesn't settle down. They all settle. The newer style stabilizer links, they have a lock that swings up and locks on them. That's something I should do also. Because when you drive down the road or you put it on a trailer for a while, it'll leak down, you know. And they settle. So then I went through and I painted the frame black. Nothing pretty. Painted the rest of the backhoe. Nothing pretty. Greased it. You know, it doesn't make it any more valuable. But because I store it outdoors, I thought a little bit of maintenance would be good. I took the seat off. The seat, we're going to have to do like plasti dip or something. These dry out and crack. And then if I leave it outdoors, it's going to absorb moisture. So one of these days I'll do that. And pretty much it. It looks like new. All the hoses look good. I can't see anything wrong with it. The thing I would like to see different when they make these is make a pocket where the hoses run, so they don't catch the ground or catch on anything. The way you loop them and just go up through there. I ran it over the axle because I didn't like it down so low. But other than that, this machine works great. Throw a little paint on it. The thumb works good. It's not as handy as an excavator, obviously. A whole lot less money. I think this thing was like $6,000 something when I bought it new. And I believe it's a 2007. And it digs well. I don't overly use it, but the amount that I have used it is a lot of decks, a lot of footings, drain tiles. Now that I got the little thumb on there I bought from a neighbor friend, is that can pick up a log. It picks up rocks. We were on a cleanup job and I picked up rocks. There was a part of a foundation, lamp post, steel post, anything you want to grab, it'll work. And then when you drive over, you can set it up in the dump trailer so you don't have to handle it, manhandle it. And other than that, you know, just general maintenance I want to do on this and just keep it going because it's been my best wheelbarrow that I ever bought. I couldn't imagine owning a piece of property, running a business without some piece of equipment. A lot of people pick on the size of this. I think it's great to get on somebody's lawn, you know, 4,000 pound machine. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and I can get in close, you know, and you get a big machine, 50, 60 horse or something. That's too much, you know, too much weight, too much power, not necessary. The cab, that's kind of ugly. It works, you know, snow blowing. Summertime, it's kind of warm in there. I could use a fan on some days, but I don't do it that often. In the woods, it's awesome. You get out in the woods, you touch a branch, it comes back and whacks you in the face. That thing saves you. Putting the mirrors on, these are golf cart mirrors. I love them. They just swivel out of the way, and you can adjust and see where you're going. And, you know, I always worry about running over people or whatever. If your stabilizer arm is down, you can see that it's down. You know, whoa, we better stop. And other than that, thanks for watching the channel. It's just a little cleanup. This thing is going to look better. It sits outdoors. I wish I had a larger building. I also got his little storage shed, so got to deal with it, you know. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.